Alright, so this is the how to beat the Fire Fist 3 axis. Mainly this is the OTK variant that I like to play, more so than just the rank 3 or the Synchro 3 version that most players play, because they're pretty standard in the way they play. They're not too different from the 4 axis, so the way you beat the 4 axis is pretty much the way you beat 3 axis. But for the OTK variant, because it has the OTK capabilities, you have to play against them a little bit different. You have to play them as they are in OTK deck. So you have to be able to survive. Especially if they clear your field and then try to attack you directly, you'll need some hand traps, right? So that's why you have stuff like, you might have Battle Fader in your deck, you might run Swift Scarecrow, Tragodia, Goers, Battling Boxer Bailout, Jetlander, so on, so on, so on. So many different Kribo, go on and on, right? So many different battle-related hand trap monsters that could, protect you, can save you from just losing in one single turn. Might not prevent the whole entire onslaught, but you can at least reduce it long enough to survive for one more turn. After surviving, I forgot to put it in here, but you can obviously play stuff like Dark Hole, because once they try to OTK you can survive it. You can't let them keep what they have and OTK you right back, right? So stuff like Dark Hole, Lightning Vortexes, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Black Rose, stuff like that. Even Exciton Knight, which is the newest little toy we have to play with to take care of overextending decks, right? So, pretty much survive the OTK. So you probably have some of these cards already in your deck, and then of course you got Dark Hole, Lightning V, if you have it, Needle Ceiling if you want to play that. There's tons of mass removal cards still left in the game that you can use. Since it's still a Fire Fist deck, it'll still have, Tenki, probably a couple of the other Fire Fist traps and spells. So you can use Spell Shattering Arrow, MST, to prevent Tenki from resolving and getting its effect off. Enemy Controller, mainly just to slow down OTKs. The less damage you take, the more chances you have of an extra turn. Same goes for Book of Moon. You could pretty much prevent a whole onslaught if you Book of Eclipse. So as a concealing, mainly is after you survive the OTK. You can play towards the concealing and then just start running their monsters over, or synchro into a, if you have the ability to synchro, of course, into a Red Dragon Archfiend, attack one of their defense position monsters, then wipe out the rest with your effect. Let's say some of the monsters can't be destroyed while they're face up. You can sort of concealing and then go Exciton Knight and then wipe them out, or Black Rose. Red Screen is a good continuous defense. You can use that with Stardust, maybe even Spark Dragon, to stall long enough to be able to make a comeback, be able to grab some of your cards that you can use to get rid of your opponent's large monster related field. Karmika is good to reduce how many monsters they can rekindle, because the 3 axis OTK uses rekindle to help them OTK, so that's mainly where the OTK comes from. Is the rekindling. So getting rid of multiple copies of monsters in the graveyard comes in handy to reduce the fact that they can rekindle all the monsters back, just permanently get rid of them. Regular base just to reduce the number of monsters they have to attack you with. So some basic stuff. They're fire decks, so you can use Catastor. Especially if you don't have much of anything else and you just go into Catastor and then they have nothing they can do to get over Catastor. They don't have any effects to remove him. Well, he'll help you stall long enough to get your removal spells, and get rid of his his setup. Colossal Fighter, decent stall. He's strong. He pretty much can run over most of your opponent's 3-axis monsters anyway, Fire Fist monsters. But he comes in handy in, you know, preventing an OTK. Zen main, he can hold his own to a certain degree, plus helps you reduce the number of, you know, monsters or cards your opponent has. And of course, I already said Exciton. And that's a quick little video on how to beat Fire Fist 3-axis OTK variant.